it's Michelle with Stamping with Michelle. Today I thought I would give you a Stamping 101 video. I've done videos myself, there's lots of videos out there and everyone's showing you how to make a card, but I thought it might be helpful to kind of start way at the very beginning. For somebody who is brand new to stamping, it might be a little overwhelming to just kind of dive in. So I'm hoping I can answer some of the questions that you might have on how to actually get started stamping. So this is the card that we're going to make, but before we get to this point, I wanted to talk a little bit about stamps. So Stampin' Up! Sells two different types of stamp sets. They both come in the clear cases like this, but you can get cling mount stamps or you can get photopolymer stamps. The photopolymer are completely clear. They look like this. They do get a little bit stained, especially if you're using pinks and purples, but as long as it's been cleaned, it doesn't alter the effect of the stamp at all. They get stored right here on the case. The cling stamps, you just peel them off the case, and they have the red rubber that you might be familiar with a wood mount stamp, and are very similar to the wood mount stamps in that regard. But this here, this cling, is really, really sticky. In either case, you are going to need a clear block to mount your stamps onto. I recommend block D. It's a good basic size block. So we have, I think it's 9 different size blocks. But to just get started, a D block or maybe a C block should get you through most of your needs, unless you have a really long stamp. So when your stamps first come in, I'm going to pull in a different one. I just got my pre-order, and this is a new stamp set that we're going to have in the fall catalog. So you're going to see this is a cling set. You're going to see this is what you have. And you do need to mount your stamps. So I'm just going to do one. We're going to pop the snowman out of the case here, or out of the rubber rather. And you're going to peel the backing off of the stamp. And then you're going to find on the label sheet that stamp, that image, and you're going to peel that off as well. And then you're going to take your stamp and you're going to just position it right into place. You can follow the outlines just as it is on the sheet, and then you just peel it right off. And now your stamp is ready to go. You can mount it onto a block, and then when I'm done with it, I like to just mount them into the clear case. I've started actually taking the label sheet and sliding it into the back, so then I can line my stamps up. You can see the shadow. I'll pull this up. You can see the shadow of the snowman, and I will just line it up right in there. So it also helps me to position the stamps within the case and know if I'm missing any stamps. All right, let's get stamping now. The most important thing when you are creating a card is, of course, stamps, ink, and paper. So we'll bring in the first layer of your cardstock. A standard card is a half sheet of cardstock. This is cut, it's 8.5, and then you just cut it in half at 5.5 inches. And then you then fold that right in half, and that is what is going to make your standard card. That's what fits into the medium-sized envelopes. And for the most part, unless it's a specific card, that's what you're going to see for samples out there is designed around that size of a card. I'm going to bring in my layer of Whisper White cardstock. And then, of course, ink is the next principal. Stamps, ink, and paper. This is one of the ink pads that Stampin' Up! Sells. It's a newer design that we came out with a couple of years ago. The easiest way I have found to open it is on the side here. You've got this little lip here, and you reach in and I pull it open sideways, kind of like a compact. You do need to be very, very careful that you're not twisting it in any way. You're going straight back. If you twist it, you're going to end up breaking these hinges. And then that just slides right into the case, and it will sit just like this while you're doing your stamping. I'm going to bring in these leaves that I have pulled out. This is from, again, the Forever Fern stamp set. And when you're stamping, you want to just tap, tap, tap lightly. These are foam ink pads, and if you press really, really firmly onto the ink pad, you're going to end up with ink all over where you don't want it to be, especially with the photopolymer. The photopolymer is not as thick. Remember, this has got the red rubber and it's got the foam underneath it. The photopolymer doesn't. So especially the photopolymer, you want to be very, very gentle when you're stamping. I like to start, I'm going to create an all over background. I like to start with my largest image first, and we're just going to do it if you kind of work in a triangular fashion. That's what's most pleasing to the eye. I know that I want to add additional images, so I'm leaving myself lots and lots of white space. Next, I'm going to bring in Bermuda Bay, and we're going to do the next largest image. And we'll put a few of these in here, like that. And then I have Highland Heather. I'll put a few little leaves here. You can see that I'm stamping off of the edge, which makes it kind of look like wallpaper and kind of has it running off. I think I'll throw an extra one in there, maybe like that to kind of fill in. And then finally, I am using Sahara Sand with a little speckle stamp, and we'll add some little speckles. It adds a little texture, and I'm gonna stamp a little bit on top. And when you're stamping, you wanna go straight down and pick straight up. You don't wanna rock your image. That's gonna give you the cleanest looking image. There, like that. Now we're gonna do a little bit of layering. The next layer below, I have some soft sea foam, and we're going to use our Stampin' Seal. We'll flip this over, and you want to run it across and then twist a little, and that twist helps to release the adhesive nice and cleanly so you don't have any issues with it. And then I'll put a little in each corner and a dab in the center. And I'll do another video that will talk about creating perfect layers. That's a whole nother set of instructions. And we'll put a little adhesive on the back of this one. That will go on our card, like that. And then we're gonna add our greeting. I have a couple of little strips here that we're going to punch. We're going to use the Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch. This has two different styles of labels, and there you go, 2 different styles of labels and 3 different sizes. So we're going to take the little strip here of Sahara Sand cardstock. It goes right in. We're doing the second size. And then I like to flip it over with this punch to make sure that it is lined up. You can see it can move a little bit. So you want to make sure it's exactly where you want it to be. And we'll just punch that, and then we'll slide it back in and flip over and check to make sure it's positioned right, and punch again. And then we're going to finish this with the You Can Do This greeting in the Coastal Cabana. We're going to attach this with a little bit of the Stampin' Seal. And then I like to use Stampin' Dimensionals. It adds a little bit of layering, it pops things up. It really adds a lot to a card. I use these probably on every single card. Something is popped up, almost certainly. And you're going to peel that off, and you take the backs off. And we will just attach it just like so. And there you go. That is your finished card. Kind of a basic Stamping 101. Stay tuned for more videos that will kind of give you an overview on how you can get started stamping. You can purchase any of these supplies by going to my website at www.michellebreton.com and clicking on the online ordering button in the upper right hand corner. Have a great day.